So Jens, thanks for joining me on the Manufacturing IT podcast. It's episode 1, and who better to join us than the CEO of the industry-leading pharma MES vendor, Körber Pharma. So Jens, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Daniel. Great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to give you an overview of Körber Pharma.
No, it's my pleasure, Jens, and I thought my network would be really interested to hear your thoughts on the MES space. But I thought also we could start by, or you could start by giving us an overview who Körber Pharma are to the uninitiated and those who don't know.
Yeah. First of all, Körber is a global corporation of more than 10,000 people, and it's a multitude of businesses. Yeah. Körber is owned by a foundation, and we are very proud that besides the Nobel Prize, the Körber Prize is also frequently awarded and giving back what we earn to the public. Within Körber, there are 5 different business areas, and one is pharma. And in pharma, we are a group of corporations which are specialized in helping the pharma industry to get better in manufacturing. And in Körber Pharma software in particular, we are the market leaders in MES. So basically, we help our clients digitizing whatever they do in a pharma manufacturing shop floor. And we are super proud that this year also Gartner awarded us as an industry leader. And if you imagine that we are working in this niche of pharma and in this niche of manufacturing software, then it's also very clear that we want to be the best in this area. And can only be this if you are very close to your clients, if you have speed of innovation, if you have a great team, if you have a lot of experience. And that's probably what describes the core of this corporation very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good narrative and overview, Jens. Thanks for sharing. I guess, for me, I've always known the brand to be Werum IT Solutions, but obviously there's been a slight rebrand. Would you mind just sharing a bit about that?
Yes. Werum was basically the name of the company and also of the founder. By the way, a nice fact apart, he was working with Mr. Zuse, inventing the first computers. Now that we are 80 years in the innovation anniversary of the first computer, it's perhaps worth mentioning. And this corporation has been joined, the Körber Group, in 2014. And now we are bringing together the strengths of the different companies which are in pharma under this common name. The corporation itself and the team itself stays the same. We are, as Werum or Firma Werum, we are Körber Pharma Software. We are a team of more than 700 people globally. We are always close to our clients. The headquarters is here in Germany, near Hamburg, in Lüneburg. Also, more than 30 years of history here. We are growing also here. It's a very nice campus, and everybody who joins the team is invited to be here and also smell and feel the spirit of the team here. But what Werum also makes this team, Körber Pharma, special is a global network, right? And if you join, you really join a team of global experts in pharma software and in pharma and manufacturing. And we have teams in the US, a big team, 90 people, a team in Thailand, more than 50 people, a growing team in India, a team in Japan, a team in China, a team in France. Now we are growing also a team in Ireland. And these teams are working very closely together, right? And what is for me very important, that they really can reach out, that they interact, and that they solve clients' problems together. And this resonates super also with our clients, because also the pharma clients become more and more global, and they need this proximity in their factories, and we can be there.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I guess from my time, or from us working together, Jens, and with the other managers in the teams, it's great to see the different collaboration between the new team in Ireland, the team in the US, and also in Asia Pacific as well. So I guess it's now a truly global company that has influence from all four corners of the globe.
Yes. You cannot invent or be the best in pharma manufacturing when you try to invent everything from Lüneburg, Germany, right?
Yeah.
We have a saying where we say innovate at the edge. Yeah. So we try to pick these special topics in certain geographies. For example, we see in the US the topic of as a service, and we are right now launching our MES as a service. Product is ready, and clients buy it, and clients use it already. And the US will be our prime region for this, or the whole industry of cell and gene in the US. Also there, the US team is basically driving the agenda, and then the other teams are jumping in and supporting, but the key topics are driven by this region. And then there are other topics which are driven by India or France or Europe in other areas.
Yeah, that's great to hear, Jens, as well, because I said to you before, one of the challenges I faced when recruiting for the business is that the tradition was a lot of the innovation, a lot of the brain of the business was in Lüneburg. So it's now great to see that's been shared across the different regions and allowing different ideas to enter the business.
Yeah, definitely.
So Jens, you've been with the business, what, 2.5 years or so now?
Yes.
So what put Werum on the map for you? What caused you to join? If you wouldn't mind sharing a bit about that.
Yeah, I'm computer scientist by nature, and I'm always very curious when it comes to technology. And on the other hand, I looking back on a career of working more than 20 years with big corporations, big clients, and consulting them and leading them also through a way of digitization. Always be very focused on the problems of the clients and understanding the business of the clients. And that is exactly what I also find in Werum. Yeah? On the one hand, we have super technicians who are really leading edge on thoughts on where to drive technology. And on the other hand, we have a huge workforce of people with a bio background, with a pharmacist background, with the pharma manufacturing background, who speak the language of this industry and really know how to solve the problems of the clients. And these two flavors of talents are influencing each other very well in this cooperation, and that's what I really like. So right now I have a great job. I can do what I like in terms of technology, and have discussions on driving technology forward with this team. And on the other hand side, I learn every day more on innovative manufacturing processes in the area of cell and gene, or how to optimize yield of a chromatography control with artificial intelligence. So it's a great job I have.
Yeah, no, it sounds very interesting. A lot of things there that I've heard of, but my knowledge is only surface deep. But I guess what I'm interested in, Jens, and I hope what others are interested in hearing as well, is what the future is for Werum, what the future is for Körber Pharma. Because as most people know, Pasx, which is your industry-leading software, it's used by more than 20 of the global top 30 pharmaceutical companies. what is the future for that? Because you're reaching critical mass in terms of everybody using the software. It's then replacing legacy systems with other companies. Where are you growing? Where is your kind of plans, and where do you want to take the business?
Yeah. So one and probably one of the most important core values is client centricity. Yeah. So whatever we do, we are striving to be with clients and work for clients and serve clients, go the extra mile wherever it's necessary, right? So the first pharma MES in a client in Germany is still running since 30 years, and we are still supporting it. Yeah, but you mentioned it. It's completely right. We are looking at a client base of more than 100 clients, more than 400 productive usages of our system, and that is definitely one of the mission is transforming this installed base into a new era of technology, cloud native technology. Yeah. The other mission that we have is when we look at the breadth of clients that are still out there, may it be large corporations, mid-sized corporations, cell and gene clients, CMO clients. We look at the overall population of more than 500 clients, and probably 10 times as much installations as we or sites as we currently have, who are not digitized at all. And our clear mission is to develop products and also an organization that is able to serve these clients and create also a solution set in terms of software, services, content, training. So an offering for these clients that they are going digital. Because Daniel, what we see right now also in COVID times is the speed that this industry is gaining. And we get very clear feedback from our clients that wherever they use digital technology, they can continue manufacturing. They are up and running, and wherever they are not digitized, on paper still, manual processes still, this was an area impacted by this pandemic situation. And this is something we want to achieve. There's really a lot of white space which we want to address, and therefore we are developing our solutions first. I was mentioning we have Pasx as a service. Yes. We work heavily with significant investments in this year and also the coming years on optimizing our cloud footprint, our usability, our integration, our possibility of making data available. The next wave will also be using AI in manufacturing to further develop the solution. And bring it to our clients on the one hand side and our new market on the other hand side.
No, thanks. And I think the thing that always blows my mind, Jens, with MES is as you say, that the first Pasx installation 30 years ago, they're still operating the software. But I think the last stat I read or heard was that less than 60 or less than 40% of pharma manufacturers actually have an MES implemented. Even less. So for a software that's been around 30 years, that has obvious benefits in efficiency, compliance and such, how there's such little adoption of the technology. So from a company like your perspective, there's tons of growth, there's tons of companies who will be looking to buy your software. But why do you think there's been such, or the adoption has been much slower than in other technologies like a CRM or an ERP, for example?
Yeah. Daniel, the good thing is that a lot of these corporations we talk to also do not have an SAP. And I think what we see in the industry these days is that a lot of the core processes are now being digitized in the coming years.
Yeah.
I think there has been digitization, as you said, right? Left and right, a little bit CRM here, a little bit finance and controlling there, but the core processes of the companies have not touched. I'm talking now large corporate, not the big pharma, right? Big pharma always did it and innovated there. I'm talking about smaller corporations, 4 or 5 sites globally, who did not invest in that area. But this, especially after the pandemic, we expect this to come significantly. But the solution or the whole package must be shaped in a way that's also attractive for them, right? In terms of value, in terms of pricing, in terms of improvements to them they see. And that's the team we are currently working on also shaping very clear this value proposition for these clients.
No, definitely. And I think that's something that's going to be a bit of interest, because, you know, MES traditionally has always been these huge monolithic systems that take multiple years to implement, and then you've got the complexity of the global rollout. You've got a complexity of different productions. So what is the future then, in your view, for implementing an MES for the companies that are not the big farmers, the companies that don't have the deep pockets for implementation and investment?
So that is clearly a journey of decustomization and making the product easier to use. Looking at the Pasx as a service clients, the first clients were live in 6 months between kickoff workshop and start of production. That tells you how rich the product is already. And how good it can also fit to the processes we see in pharma. We recently had a Pasx as a service client who had the full development and qualification system up and running within 2 weeks. And that is, and they use it now. They use it for the whole MBR creation and basically setting it up. And that's what we strive for, right? That we minimize downtimes, that we speed up in provisioning the systems. And the next topic we currently work on is that after having it, after we brought it to the client quickly, that we are also have methodology in place to update it quickly when it comes to innovations, right? So that clients in 1 or 2 years' time can get an update every half a year with the latest features, updated functionality, improved functionality, and so forth. The big challenge here is not so much the technology side, to be honest. It is the GMP environment we are in, right? How do you, if you have a super controlled GMP environment, how do you bring innovations to these clients every half a year, that they can explain it also to their inspectors, that it's also a sound delivery process. But what Werum did do last 20 years is basically shaping standards and implement them first, and that's what we currently also do with the different industry standardizations group like ISPE or NAMUR in terms of integration. Defining standards, implement them, be the first one who provide it to our clients.
Being at the vanguard for that makes a lot of sense. So just I'm curious about the Pasx as a service model. So my background's always been in kind of IT recruitment. So software as a service has always been something I was, really comfortable with and understood the idea behind. And then when I started recruiting in the MES space, it seemed like everybody sold on-premise software as a service hadn't really reached this area yet. So how was how's user adoption been for Pasx as a service and MES as a service, given the complications with compliance and data, security and such? And have there been many challenges selling that to clients?
The client is super cautious.
Yeah.
And there are certain clients who take it quicker than others.
Yeah.
Also depending a lot on the production process we look at. I think it will take some more time until we see a continuous bio-manufacturing process using as a service, because there the whole topic of uptime and continuity is very important, or is critical, right? Where we are currently have these clients are in process areas that are that can use Pasx as a service, as a, let's say, service software, like weighing, in some areas also for the whole process in the cell and gene area, where you have a lot of interaction with operators, where flexibility of the system and interactions with the operators is much more important than a super integrated environment into their machine, their automation layer. And there we see the first movers. The other topic that we also frequently look at, and where we are also working very closely with the cloud providers, is the whole topic of GMP compliance, because inspectors look very carefully also and on the GMP foundation of providers like AWS or Azure, if they follow in the GMP practices when providing a cloud environment. Also here, we do the necessary to prove it. It has been a lot of work. I think the first technology-wise, we made this whole system run within 4 months, but the whole qualification and the whole procedures and documentation of the system did take more than 1.5 years to come at the stage where we currently at. Right now we are basically running in parallel between releasing a software version that is available to clients on premise, and we can take the same software also in the cloud world as a service. And we have a also clear roadmap on further driving the microservices agenda and innovation in the product in the coming years.
Fine. So you mentioned the microservices then. So what does that consist of?
Yeah, you have the different functionalities in the MES, like equipment manager, like material flow, like the recipe editor, like the recipe execution. Traditionally, it was a whole monolithic application, where you can start and use every functionality. What we will do in the and where we already started and it's already working is that these functional, you can call it apps, are working dependent on what a user needs, and so that he or she can use it at whatever is needed, and does not need to run the whole monolithic application, also does not need to learn the whole monolithic application. It's more targeted to the actual user on the shop floor. But it also comes with a lot of technology renewal in the backend.
Fine. And so that will allow the smaller manufacturers who have only 1 or 2 facilities to start using the software to understand. No, that makes a lot of sense. And in terms of the the future of MES, Jens? Where do you think the MES space is going? Obviously, we've seen, disruptive players coming onto the market. There's companies who are offering slightly different solutions to the traditional MES vendors. You've got the automation vendors who have moved into MES. But where do you see the space developing over the next 5 years or so?
Yeah. Also here, the answer is probably different to what segment of the industry you look at. Yeah. What we currently think of is much more often a suite play. Yeah. So we are looking very in depth into a set of best of breed partners. For example, we already are partnering with a solution for the whole finite scheduling. So the scheduling of the people on the shop floor and the equipment on the shop floor with a partner called SCADA. And we are looking for other, let's call it functionalities, also for partners we work with, and we also want to bring to our clients as an integrated solution suite, not exclusively, but in case a client asks, that we can also bring it with us. May it be a functionality for warehouse, may it be a functionality for a smart historian integration with the shop floor, LIMS, and so forth. So we really look at the whole ecosystem of pharma IT solutions, and want to come in a position to bring a group, a suite of pharma manufacturing capabilities to our clients with partners. And in the Körber Group, this can be through acquisitions we do with Körber. It can be through other commercial models we're currently evaluating.
Yeah, see, this area is super interesting for me, Jens, because I've been operating in the kind of manufacturing IT MES space for maybe 5 or 6 years now. And it's amazing the amount of mergers, acquisitions, and partnerships that build up. And obviously, there was the acquisition of Exputech last year. It was last year that you agreed with. And then the year before, it was Systech and Services to bring the kind of service provider side. So I guess maybe you can't share too much on this one, but how do these conversations start about mergers and acquisitions? Is it, who approaches whom, and how do these conversations start, and how do these kind of acquisitions come about?
Yeah. So Daniel, for the majority of these companies, it has been initiated by our team. Yeah. So we have also there quite a clear picture on how the portfolio should look like. And generally spoken, there are 2 dimensions. Yeah. We believe we need to have a vertical integrated suite for manufacturing. Yeah. Which is every software you need in the manufacturing situation, that we should have an offering for our clients. And that's where we are also looking and approaching companies, talk to companies about partnerships. There's the second, and that is the solution for probably the majority of the large mid-sized pharma clients, because these clients don't have IT teams, right? Or small IT teams, right? And they want to have let's say a suite that works, that has a certain functionality, and that they can use to speed up their manufacturing and use digital technology like as a commodity, you can basically say, best of breed solution. The other dimension where we currently look, and that is why we also onboarded Exputech, which is now called Pasx Savvy. That is, we want to help our clients to be quicker in launching products. We are further developing the MES to support also the clinical trial manufacturing and support clients in the whole tech transfer, so that whenever the next COVID vaccine is ready for a clinical trial, right, that the whole product can be designed and produced and then scaled up to large scale manufacturing using our tools and suites. And that is where we are particularly strong now with the acquisition of Expotec. Before we had a team that is speaking the language of manufacturing and what to do in weighing and by production and so forth. And now we onboarded also a team that speaks process development. And now these teams are working together and really can bring to the client a solution of developing a drug and bring it quickly to their patients for their benefit.
And how did that process come about? Was that, a number of conversations you had with customers and potential clients who expressed a need for this speed to be increased, this tech transfer to be increased? Or was this something that you thought of ahead of the curve and thought, look, this could be the next frontier to help our customers? What's the balance like between you finding a problem that your customers have and versus you, or you preempting a problem that they may have and they may be challenged with?
Yeah, I mean, first, our team is very active in the different industry groups like ISPE, Pharma 4.0, and we try to shape their, let's say, the idea of how would Pharma 4.0 look like. And a lot from what I said, integration, people enablement, closed loop processes you find there, let's say, as a theoretical umbrella. Yeah.
Yes.
But the other one, also very clear, is the discussion with clients. As I said before, client centricity is one of our core values, and also one piece of my job, which is also great, is that we talk quite frequently to the C-level in our clients. For each of these big clients you were also mentioning, we have sometimes once a year, sometimes up to 4 times a year, executive exchanges where they explain to us where they want to take their whole enterprise to, what kind of digital capabilities they need, and we reflect back on what is our journey and roadmap, and where we can fit in and support, and really have this client discussion firsthand.
Wow.
One of the strengths of Werum is also the very big and very active user community. The Connect we had the virtual conference with I think more than 600 people joining earlier this year, where we were also super surprised about this success in the market. And imagine 600 people just talking with us and about how to improve pharma manufacturing. That's a great sounding board, right? And you can definitely. You get a lot of feedback on functionality of the system itself, and also on, let's say, bits and pieces around that they would like to see going forward. It also gives you a very good feedback on how quick to go to the cloud, right? What are the right steps, what to do first, and you can adjust from what you might have heard in Gartner hype cycle and then reality.
Yeah, no, it sounds all very invaluable kind of market insights and intel. And I must say, I would love to be a fly on the wall of these CEO and executive exchanges and hear about where these companies are going and such. It must be fascinating.
Yeah, so it is great, right? And I did this in my previous career also quite often, but I must say the discussion here in Körber Pharma Software are nicer, right? Because they the majority of the clients are very happy with our services. So we do also very regular client feedback discussions, and the scores are generally very good. And clients also know that they can rely on us. And if there is a certain topic, we also jointly work through it and find also a good solution in a partnership way, right? We would never let a client down in case there is we need to go the extra mile, also with extra investments, we do it, and that is what you feel in the market. So very rarely we have unpleasant discussions, which also occur, right? Mainly these occur when we were too fast with certain innovations, and we need to explain that we learned along the way, and innovations might have need to be adjusted a little bit. So we had this in the area of virtual reality, where we just need to say, okay, we needed to adjust the offering there a little bit because the market was showing us a different focus.
No, that's interesting. So you mentioned obviously the user conferences. You mentioned about 600 people joining. Obviously, hopefully in the next kind of 6 to 12 months we can start to get to face-to-face ones and stop having virtual coffees and such. But you mentioned obviously in those communities, it's a great chance for users to share their feedback, discuss functionality, maybe talk about what other platforms are doing. But how do you determine which functionalities to add, which voices to listen to, and which direction to take the platform? Because obviously everybody's got a slightly different perspective. But how do you create that roadmap based on feedback?
We find a very balanced approach in our product management of really taking the feedback from clients, and you can basically say a certain portion of functionalities that we want to put in are based on client feedback, but and it's probably like 20%. About 80% of the innovations we do is based on what we drive here between the feedback we get from the market in terms of our sales workforce, when we talk to analysts, and what also our product management is collecting as feedback and driving in the agenda. Because what we do not want to do is, let's say, providing the same technology that is out there for 30 years now on an iPad. What we really and let's say have the 30th version of weigh and dispense. What we need to watch in this detail and do the right abstraction and have also this functionality in detail for our pharma, biotech, and cell and gene client group. But we also need to innovate and be ahead of the curve, right? So, and really think who is using the system, how is it used, what can we do to make it better, right? What can we do that the system is easier to be used than paper? What can we do to ease up the integration? How can integration look like in future so that it is like plugging in a USB device? But all this with the underlying theme of super quality, super reliability, and making it very specific for pharma and biotech and cell and gene.
See, this is an area that I find fascinating, Jens, and I know from our previous discussions, it's a really interesting area as well. Is that's the cell and gene, the personalized medicine, and the way MES can help those manufacturers and stuff. So where do you see the cell and gene personalized medicine space going as well? It's obviously an area that there's not a lot of history in it. There's not a lot of innovation that's been legacy innovation. It's a lot of new cutting edge stuff. But what is the future for this area?
So it's definitely one of our innovation areas. Yeah, and the good thing here is that the majority of all approved cell and gene drugs is already using Pasx. Yeah?
Okay.
So we basically did take the software, we use the flexibility that we had in the software, and we have now also invented methodologies and best practices how to use it in a cell and gene environment.
Wow.
But it's also, in all honesty, we need to improve functionality there. We did learn a lot, especially in the cell and gene space. The process is never stable, right? So with every batch they produce, they learn how to optimize here and there the process, and we need to bring in, so where we had before a system that was flexible in configuring a process, but then executed it with all rigor, we now need to find the right way of bringing together this rigor and flexibility in the individual production processes itself. And there we have quite some smart ideas on the roadmap, and it will come to to our clients in the coming months. The other challenge in this industry is the variety of the raw material, which is basically cells of people, right? Plasma. Yeah. So before you had your API, it was very clear how a biotechnology process work. Here you do not know what kind of quality and characteristics you have in your, you can call it raw material for the production process. And we need to be much more, we need to help our clients to understand this much better. And we are currently looking into how to use Savvy and the statistical models and the analytics capabilities we have in this team to really understand what is coming there into the production process on the one hand side, and on the other hand side, bringing in a certain flexibility, parameterization of the production process to reflect back how the production should basically take varieties in the raw material into account. And then you have all kinds of flavors in terms of small companies where the whole topic should fit into large big pharma manufacturing who want to scale to this whole production. The whole manufacturing process is super complex. One client had, on paper, it was more than 1,000 pages of recipe, which needs to be digitized. One drug was produced by 2 operators per day. Yeah, so scaling means 4 drugs per day. Yeah. And there it's a lot about usability and a completely different, not a completely different production process, but a different production process we are learning with our clients and adhering to. We currently estimate that probably something like 80–85% of the functionality is like it used to be before, and something like 15–20% of functionality we need to adjust and bring into the product to make it fit much better for cell and gene clients. The good thing is, especially for the small cell and gene clients, we do not see this super diverse software landscape. We might also go in a direction that our system could be the one system that smaller corporations use to manage their whole quality and production process. And that is where we are also looking what kind of modules, functionalities can we add, so that clients do not need to buy an SAP or a quality management system, because they just use it for just a small additional functionality apart from the MES.
No, it sounds like a super interesting topic, and obviously from the way you're speaking, I can see the passion behind the eyes, Jens. But it's you know, personalized medicine and cell and gene, it really is where things are going, and it's great to hear. Obviously, you know, Werum and Körber Pharma Software are at the front of that. But look, we're approaching the end of the episode now, Jens, and obviously, you know, as all businesses are, and especially in your position, they are looking to grow, looking to hire the best talents, and one of the things I'm keen to hear from you, and I'm sure that the kind of listeners are as well, is, you know, tell us a little bit about the culture within Körber Pharma Software. You know, you're based in Germany. You know, tell us a little bit about the organization, the kind of the culture. Tell us about the culture.
So the whole culture that we are that you will find when you join this company is a culture of 50 years of entrepreneurship, right? So people really get empowered to shape the areas that they work in, to speak up, to further develop what we do, because like you said, in cell and gene, or with all the clients we do, when it comes to software as a service, we want to further develop this organization. And it's the strength is in the multitude of these different regions, of these different cultural backgrounds, of these different expertises, and that is what we as a leadership team here in this corporation also transport to the people: empowerment. The second is, you will also see I mean, it's only 700 people, so it is reasonably flat hierarchies. Everybody can call me anytime if he has a topic, and then we discuss, and we try to find solutions quickly wherever possible. It's also a global team, So I'm always saying, if somebody wants to work in Asia, let's talk about it. We find a solution. If somebody wants to work in Europe, we talk about it. Let's find a solution, or elsewhere. So it's very, let's say, it's a global company, but you can work locally, but in a very global network. I used to work before in a global consultancy, also very global organization, and you find the same here in Werum. And then very pragmatic.
No, it's interesting, because this is one of the things that I've always enjoyed working with the business. And, you know, I've represented Werum, you know, maybe 2, 3, 3.5, 4 years maybe in the market. And, you know, it's always a nice selling point to talk about. It's a small enough company that it feels agile, feels family orientated, but it's large enough that you've got, you know, the financial stability, the infrastructure of a huge multinational. So it's a good balance. And obviously it's a growing company. Yeah.
And Daniel, I think one is what you always feel when you also walk the halls, right? Everybody in this corporation knows why we do this, right? We produce medicine for people, and especially in the cell and gene area, you know that the product that you produce is for one individual to heal a cancer, right? And whatever we do in terms of software development, in terms of consultancy, in terms of support, this team is really striving to help our clients to work, to develop products and to serve their clients, which are patients. And this is the whole energy that you feel here in the team, the quality that we deliver, the proactiveness that we see, so that we are serving pharma, right? And that there a huge responsibility comes with it. That's what you feel here wherever you are.
Well, look, I've not been to the Lüneburg campus. It's a place I've wanted to go for a long time. So
Yes.
hopefully, once we can travel, we can, or I can walk those halls and feel what you're referring to.
Yes, definitely. You should.
Good stuff. Well, look, Jens, thanks so much for joining us. It's episode 1, and delighted to have the CEO from Körber Pharma Software on the show. So thanks so much, Jens.
Thanks, Daniel, and yeah, welcome to the team, and looking forward to meet you all here in Lüneburg or wherever you are. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye, Jens. Thank you.